My son, my daughter, you did not open this by chance somewhere between one task and the next. Something in you slowed down. You told yourself it was only a pause, only a moment of rest before the next demand pulled you forward. But I was the one who slowed you. I was the one who said, "Not yet, stay a little longer here." I am not speaking to everyone who might one day hear these words. I am speaking to you in this hour, exactly as you are, with the burden you have not said out loud and the question you have carried so long, it has started to feel like part of your name. I know the weight you carry, even the part of it you have not admitted to yourself. I know the mornings that begin heavy before anything has even gone wrong. I know the tiredness that does not come from your body, but from something deeper, a soul that has been stretched thin for longer than anyone around you realizes. I know the silence you sit in when the house empties, and there is no one left to perform strength for. You have been holding yourself together with a kind of quiet endurance that looks like peace from the outside, but has never actually felt like peace on the inside. I see the difference. I have always seen the difference. That ache inside you, the one that whispers something is not right. That life was never meant to press down this hard. That whisper is not weakness in you. It is truth rising up from the place where I planted it. I did not shape you for this kind of weariness. I shaped you for rest, and not the thin kind that vanishes the moment trouble returns, but the kind that holds its ground even while the storm is still moving. You have searched for that steadiness in circumstances, in people, in outcomes you were certain would finally settle you, and when those things could not hold the weight, you kept walking anyway. I saw every step of that, and I did not bring you to this moment to tell you to keep gritting your teeth and pushing forward alone. I brought you here to tell you something is turning. If these words are landing somewhere true in you right now, let your finger find the like button before you read on. Let that small motion be your way of saying, I am listening, I am here. It costs you nothing, and it tells me you are willing to receive what comes next. There is a room inside you that noise has never fully reached. It sits beneath your thoughts, beneath your emotions, in a place quieter than either. That room has known my voice since before you had language for it, even during the seasons when your mind was too loud and too crowded to notice I was speaking. I am speaking to that room now, not from somewhere far above your life, looking down at the mess of it, but from right where you are, closer than the breath moving in your chest. At this very second, you have believed, perhaps without ever saying it plainly, that closeness to me had to be earned, that you needed to fix yourself first, steady your faith first, clean up your record first, and only then would I draw near. My child, that belief was never true, and it was never mine. I did not wait at a distance for you to arrive presentable. I came looking for you exactly as you were, in the mess, in the doubt, in the years you are ashamed of. I did not come because your prayers were polished, or your belief unshakable. I came because you belong to me, and what belongs to me, I do not leave behind. Nothing about this moment happened by accident. You may explain it to yourself as boredom, or a random scroll, or simple curiosity. But I tell you plainly, nothing that draws a heart closer to my voice is left to chance. I set this appointment. Heaven does not deal carelessly with the ones it loves. The world you live in is loud in a way that never rests. It fills every open space with urgency, with comparison, with the sense that you are always behind and never enough. It rushes into your stillness before you can settle into it, and you have lived so long inside that noise, that quiet itself has begun to feel wrong, almost dangerous, as though something must be broken if things have gone still. Nothing is broken. Stillness is where I have been waiting the entire time. It is where my voice does not have to compete for space. It is where the truth I have already spoken over your life can finally reach you without being drowned out by everything shouting over it. So stay here with me a while longer. Let this be more than sound passing through a tired mind on its way to being forgotten. Let it become a meeting. Let it travel down into the places in you that have been running on empty, into the corners that have quietly stopped, expecting anything good to arrive. I have something to say to those places, and what I say will change the shape of how you walk out of this hour. Every road that brought you here, every season that shaped you without your permission, every unplanned detour and unwanted chapter has moved within my sight the entire time. I never lost track of you. I never set you down somewhere and forgot to come back. You were before me in every moment, even the ones when you felt most unseen, most forgettable, most alone in a crowded room. You were never invisible to me, not once. You did not stumble into this day by accident. Heaven called you into it because something in your life is preparing to shift. Some of the loudest noise you carry does not come from outside you at all. It lives inside in the arguments you never finished, in memories that replay themselves without asking permission, in fear that always seems to know the exact moment to speak up. You have listened to those voices for so long they have started to sound like wisdom, like the voice of reason itself. But hear me now. Not every voice that shouts is telling the truth, and not every voice that stays quiet should be ignored. I have been the quiet one. I have been the steadiness underneath your restlessness, the peace that returned again and again, even when you were certain it had finally given up on you. I want to teach you something about the way I speak, because the world has handed you a lie about it. It says power must be loud to be real, that anything worth trusting will announce itself with force and leave no room to doubt. So you have been listening for thunder. But I often arrive the way morning light enters a room before the sun has fully risen. Not dramatic, not forceful, simply present and slowly growing brighter. Long ago, on a mountainside, a weary prophet waited for me in the middle of a storm. A wind tore at the rocks with enough force to split them apart. The ground itself shook, fire swept through, and I was not in any of it. After the storm had passed and the silence that followed, a voice came, soft and low, barely more than a breath. And it was there that he finally heard me clearly, not in the wind, not in the shaking earth, not in the fire. In the whisper, I was not absent from the storm. Yet I was not confined to it either. I do not withhold thunder because I lack the strength to bring it. I come gently because I honor the soul I am speaking to. I do not need to overwhelm you to be near you. I do not need to shake the ground beneath your feet to prove that I am real. The deepest room inside you was never built to open by force. It opens to love. And love has always known how to enter without breaking the door down. This is why I keep asking you to slow down. Not as punishment, not as delay for its own sake, but because the place where I meet you most completely is never on the surface of a life lived at full speed. It is in the quiet room underneath the rushing where your guard finally lowers, where you stop performing the version of yourself that looks like it is coping and simply let yourself be seen as you actually are. That room is where I do my deepest work. And that is exactly where I am meeting you right now. Long before he became known to anyone, a boy tended sheep on a quiet hillside, far from the noise of any city. No one thought to look for greatness there. He was overlooked even by his own household, left out in the fields while decisions were made without him. And it was there, in that overlooked place, under an ordinary sky, that I first began speaking to his heart, shaping in silence what the world would only recognize years later. I do not always begin loudly. I often begin in the fields no one is watching, in the hours nobody thinks matter. If you feel forgotten in the quiet season you are in, I want you to hear this. The quiet season is not proof that I have overlooked you. It is often the very place where I am doing my most careful work. If any part of this is stirring something loose in your chest right now, tell me in the comments with a single word here, so I know you are still with me. So I know this reached further than just your ears, my child. I want to speak plainly now about the doors that closed on you, because I know how much they cost you. I know the plans that fell apart in your hands, the relationships that ended before you were ready, the opportunities that seemed made for you and were given to someone else instead. I know how those endings felt, like carelessness, like being overlooked, like a cruelty with no explanation attached. I am not going to tell you the pain was not real. It was real. But I am going to tell you the truth about what was happening underneath it. Some of what you wanted so badly would have led you somewhere narrow, somewhere that looked wide from a distance, but would have closed in around you the further you went. You would have poured years into something that ended in exhaustion, in a life smaller than the one I had already prepared for you. You would have settled, not from a lack of ambition, but from not yet knowing how to trust me in the waiting. So I closed those doors, not to punish you, but to free you from a version of your life that was never large enough to hold what I had planned. The delays you could not understand, the seasons where nothing seemed to move no matter how hard you pushed, those were never neglect on my part. I was working in places you could not see. I was rearranging people, shifting timing, preparing circumstances that had nothing to do with luck and everything to do with purpose. I was shaping you into someone able to carry what was coming, because you could not step into that next place until you had become the person it required. The delay was never about what you lacked. It was about what still needed to be finished, in you and around you both. The prayers that seemed to go unanswered were not ignored. They were answered in a way your eyes were not yet ready to recognize. There will be a day, and for some of you it has already begun, when you look back at the very thing that broke your heart and understand it was the turning point your whole story depended on. When the closed door that felt unbearable reveals itself as the very thing that kept you from a path that would have taken you further from the life I was building for you. I was not withholding when I redirected you. I was protecting you. My silence in those seasons was not absence. It was focused the way a surgeon grows quiet, not from indifference, but from complete attention to the work in front of them. I was present. I was fighting for your future in rooms you never even knew existed. Every part of your story, the prayers that were answered and the ones that were redirected, the doors that opened easily and the ones that shut without warning, the seasons of plenty and the long seasons of waiting, all of it has remained inside my sight the entire time. None of it slipped through unnoticed. None of it was left to chance. So let the grief you have carried over what closed begin to loosen its grip. Let the anger toward endings that felt unfair begin to soften into something closer to trust. Not because the pain was not real, but because the one who allowed it was never distant or careless. I was near. I was working, and the purpose behind it was always your good, always your protection, always the wider life I was building toward. Even when saying no to what you wanted was the only way to say yes to what I had already prepared. This is the turning point, not a future one you have to wait for, not one that depends on more time or more proving yourself, but this one right here in the breath you are taking as you read these words. I am not restoring you to who you were before the hard seasons broke you open. That version of you had not yet carried what you carry now. I am restoring you to the fullness I always intended. The clarity that was clouded, the confidence worn down by battles you never asked to fight. The peace that was taken from you slowly, piece by piece, through disappointment and loss. I am giving all of it back, not in fragments, but in a measure that matches everything you surrendered along the way. Joy is coming toward you, and I do not mean the surface kind that disappears the moment life applies pressure. I mean a joy planted deep enough to exist alongside hardship, without being erased by it. The kind that comes after the fire and is not afraid of fire anymore. Rest is coming toward you too. Not only the rest your tired body has needed for years, but the deeper rest of a soul finally putting down what was never its burden to carry. The outcomes you could not control, the approval of people who were never meant to define you, the pressure of timelines you never actually held in your own hands. When you let those things go, and I am helping you loosen your grip right now, a rest enters that has nothing to do with sleep and everything to do with finally standing on solid ground again. Your sense of who you are is returning to you as well. The long seasons of doubting your worth, your purpose, your place in this world, those seasons are behind you now. What I have spoken over your life was never cancelled by the moments you felt most afraid, most confused, most alone. You are not defined by your worst hour. You are defined by the word I placed over you long before the storm ever arrived. And that word has not changed one letter. The people you carry in your heart, the ones whose names come to your mind in quiet moments and in prayer, I see them too. What I am doing in you is not sealed off from them. Restoration rarely stays confined to a single life. What I am building in you will reach outward and touch them in ways neither of you will fully trace back to this moment. Trust me with them the way you are learning, slowly, to trust me with yourself. The life I am opening in front of you is not a repaired version of what you lost. Not old hopes stitched back together to look new. It is something I have been building since long before you reached the end of your own strength and finally stopped trying to force it into place yourself. I know exactly what this life is meant to hold, exactly who it is meant to reach, exactly what your spirit was built to carry, and what will make you feel fully alive in a way striving never could. You do not have to engineer it. You do not have to force it open or map out every step before you take the first one. You only have to walk close enough to hear me, open enough to follow, willing enough to trust the steps you cannot yet see. You have endured a long, wearying stretch of road, but hear this clearly as you step forward from here. You did not come through it only to return to an ordinary, weary way of living. You came through it to step into something your spirit has always sensed was possible, even when you had no proof of it. The ache you felt for more than what you were living, that ache was never restlessness for its own sake. It was accurate. It was pointing toward a life I had already set aside for you while the storm did what storms do. The storm has passed now, the life is here, and I am walking beside you into it. Before you go, if this word has met you where you are today, do not let it pass by silently. Say it out loud or write it below. I trust you, and let that be the marker of this moment, the place where something in you finally exhaled. You do not have to earn your way into what I am giving you. You only have to open your hands and receive it. Peace may feel unfamiliar to a soul that has lived so long inside difficulty, and that is all right. Let the strangeness settle. This is simply what it feels like when the weight finally lifts. There is one more thing I need you to understand. Before you rise from this moment and step back into the noise waiting outside it, the version of you that walks away from here does not have to be the same version that walked in. You do not need a new set of circumstances to become new. You do not need the difficult people to disappear or the uncertain outcomes to resolve themselves before healing can begin. The healing begins the instant you stop waiting for permission to receive it. I am not asking you to have it all figured out. I am asking you to trust the one who already does. You may still wake up tomorrow and feel the old weight try to settle back onto your shoulders out of habit, because habits do not vanish simply because truth has been spoken. When that happens, remember this moment. Remember that I met you here, not in a temple built by hands, not in a place that required you to be anything other than what you already were, but in the middle of an ordinary day that you almost let pass by unnoticed. Let this moment become an anchor you return to whenever the noise tries to convince you that nothing has changed. Something has changed. You felt it while you were reading, even if you cannot yet name it. If you are willing, tell me below what part of this reached you the deepest. The doors that closed, the seasons of silence, the ache you have carried, or simply the sense that you were finally being spoken to instead of spoken at. Naming it keeps it from slipping away. The moment life gets loud again. And if someone you love came to your mind while you read this, do not wait for the perfect moment to send it to them. Sometimes the perfect moment is simply now, before the thought disappears. Go from here carrying what I have spoken, and carry it gently. Share this with the one you know is tired in the same way you have been tired, because a word like this was never meant to be kept for one person alone. I am with you in the next step, and the one after that, and every step you cannot yet see. Peace be with you now and in all the days still ahead.